Hey, what's up? Tim Queen here, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 marketing channels for 2021. Now, those marketing channels I've hand selected, and you might notice that a certain number of very popular marketing channels is not included. That's on purpose. I'm going to address exactly why I didn't choose those channels at the end of this video, and then you can tell me in the comments if you agree with me on my outlook of things or if you disagree. So let's get right into the first marketing channel, and this one is YouTube. Now, YouTube is a really amazing platform for organic content creation, organic traffic generation for any business. The reason is that YouTube is, after Google, the second largest search engine, and it might just overtake them at some point and become the most popular search engine. For many topics, a lot of people don't even go on Google anymore if they have a question. They just go straight to YouTube and they search for a certain keyword like how to do this, solutions for that, the top 3, whatever. And the reason for that is there's a very video focused, visual focused generation that's growing up and is taking over the internet. And if you can use that for your company by creating content, helping people finding information in the decision-making process before they buy something, you can drive a lot of organic traffic to your website. Now, YouTube is a really big platform. Many people don't realize how many people are using it. It's almost 2 billion. It's over 2 billion people who are using YouTube every single month. That's incredible, powerful, and I highly recommend, if you haven't done any video content, put it on your to-do list for 2021. There is still a chance. I know very few people create YouTube channels, even fewer businesses, and the ones that are doing it often, like 80-90%, have no idea what they're doing. They're just creating like horrible promotional videos and like not real content that anyone would search for. So there's a huge potential in any niche I can see to get on YouTube, to grow an audience on YouTube, and then get organic traffic from the second largest video search engine over to your website and then converting them into customers. The next marketing channel I recommend is a lot smaller than YouTube, but don't let that fool you. We're talking, of course, about LinkedIn with over 760 million users. LinkedIn is probably one of the best platforms, if not the best platform, for any business to business related marketing. And the reason is because you are so close to all the different decision makers on the platform, meaning it might be difficult to find the specific decision maker who would sign off on a purchase in a specific company on Facebook, because people usually don't link their company on their Facebook profile, or they set their profile on private and you wouldn't be able to find it. But LinkedIn is the exact opposite. Everyone is encouraged to link to all of their past experiences, current job, role title, job title, and to keep this up to date. And that's how you can find the right people who would be the ones signing off on a contract, and that allows you to network with them, to build a network with like people around them, to create content that those kind of people would find interesting. And then by just doing really good and really laser focused content marketing on LinkedIn, you can actually initiate a ton of conversation. You can get people to visit your website. We have so many cool new features. We have LinkedIn stories with a swipe up feature that you can use. And if you are not on LinkedIn, you're really missing out on something. Now, if you're interested in learning about LinkedIn, how to use it, also check out the link in the description about my LinkedIn Accelerator program. This teaches you exactly how you can build up an entire LinkedIn strategy completely from scratch. The third marketing channel I'm going to talk about is something a lot of people will misunderstand, including myself. I didn't see the potential initially. I've definitely changed my mind on this. We're talking, of course, about TikTok. TikTok has over 1.2 billion users worldwide, and it's growing steadily in many countries. It's the number one social media app in any app store, iOS or Android, and it's steadily growing. And the magic behind TikTok, if I can try to explain this, if you haven't used it yourself before, the magic of TikTok is it has an incredible good algorithm for the newsfeed, meaning it's able to figure out very precisely what someone is interested in, and not just in a business sense. Like in a sense, like someone might figure out that you love potato gratin, or they might figure out that you love classical music played on violins, or they might figure out that you are interested in a specific anime. What they are capable of doing, finding similarities between people who are like-minded, and then they're suggesting really interesting content. So it's probably one of the best, if not the best, worldwide content algorithm to generate content that users are generally interested in. And one of the cool things about TikTok is, if you actually understand how to figure this out, you can create content and you have a very limited amount of hashtags. Now, in comparison, let's say Instagram, you can add up to 30 hashtags. On TikTok, you might only be able to add like 2 to 5 hashtags at most. What this does is that hashtag actually starts to mean something. Because of the limited nature of hashtags, you don't have 50,000 unrelated, useless hashtags as on Twitter or on Instagram specifically. You might have just like 10. And almost all the posts related to a specific community will focus on those 10 hashtags. So it's much easier to target users in that specific field. And you can really create really interesting video content. This is basically the requirement. You cannot share any pictures or text or whatever. You have to do it in a short video form. You have to really nail this. So really getting like the information out in the shortest possible way with the fewest possible words. And that makes content really compact and really allows you to get people to understand what you're offering. And I think it's one of the coolest platforms on the planet. It works for so many industries. It's almost unbelievable how many industries you actually can use this format for. And you can definitely also use that for business context or B2B content. Which brings me to platform number 4, your own website, or more precisely, your own blog. Did you know that there are over 3.9 million users who are performing Google searches to find an answer to a specific topic? And that your website could be one which is showing up on the first page or second page and get some of those visitors who are looking for a solution for a specific business challenge, and then learning about your approach on your website, and then hitting the contact button, signing up, getting on a phone call, and becoming a paying customer. Now, the thing is about content marketing, it's incredibly powerful if you understand what kind of content you have to create, how you find like the right niche words that you can target in order to show up on like some long tail searches on Google, and how you have to structure your content to make it interesting so people actually stay on your website longer. You can generate a ton of traffic. You can get your articles listed on the first, second page of Google, and you can get all of this completely for free. The only thing, like free in quote unquote, because you obviously have to put in the work and the time to create the content and to learn how to get the content just right so it actually ranks on Google. I can tell you from experience, most companies don't get this right. What they would do is they would, if they do any content marketing at all, they would often like get someone to write some short articles, something like 300 to 1,000 words, and then they just think that's going to do it, and then some people are going to come and read it. But be honest with yourself. Look at your own blog, look at your own article, and then think about this. When you're typing in the title in Google and you're looking at the first 3 to 5 articles that show up, and you compare this with what you have produced, do you really think someone would honestly pick your article over theirs? Like, if you don't say like my article is at least this good as the first 3 results on Google or better, then don't write any articles. You have to make sure that your articles are really of high quality. Otherwise, they will not rank on Google. Google has become incredibly intelligent in deciphering what makes up a good article, what makes up a good user experience. They're using tracking and measurements. Like, for example, like how long do you stay on this article? Do you press the back button and click on something else? If someone is like staying on your website for like a significant amount of time, let's say like a few minutes, that means the person found the answer, and Google will take that information and rank your website higher. If someone comes to your website and after like 5 seconds they click the back button, Google will know that this is not a good article, that the person wasn't getting the answer that we're looking for that particular search query, and they will take that into consideration in how to rank your website going forward. So if you really take this game seriously, you can get a ton of traffic on Google. And I really recommend to focus on building your own blog on your own website. You have so much more control. You have analytics tracking. You can have email opt-ins. You can promote small entry products. You can show people relevant articles, related articles, and get them to build trust with you really, really quickly. This brings us to marketing channel number 5. And last but not least, this is one of the most important marketing channels that every business needs. Every business needs to have email marketing. Every business needs to have an email list and plenty of sign-up forms how people can join your list. Some of the best ways how you can get people to join your list is to have a lead magnet. This could be something like an ebook, a white paper, a cheat sheet, like a customer success story that someone who would become a potential customer might want to read or want to learn about. And by just giving this away for free for the small price of getting someone's email, you can really quickly grow your email list to a few thousand subscribers. And because you own the data, you are future proof. Like social media platform shutting down, no problem. You have your emails. The email provider going out of business, no problem. You download your email contacts, you go to another one. There are hundreds of email marketing companies on this planet. If you can get into someone's inbox, it's still the number one communication channel on this planet. So it's really the one-to-one street. You don't have to trust any social media platform that their algorithm will treat your website fairly. You don't have to worry about that any social media channel at some point might turn into like a pay-to-play system where you have to boost every single post in order to be seen by anyone at all. You don't have to worry about this, because if you own someone's email address, you can always send them an email one-to-one, and you can always move on to another platform. You can always, if there is another platform opening up, you can promote this new platform to your email list. It's like really one of the best investments that you can do. So those are the top 5 marketing channels that I recommend for any business in 2021. Now let's have a quick chat about the ones that I left out. The first one I left out is Facebook. Now we can kind of mesh this together with Instagram. Now the reason why I say Facebook is bad is because this platform has been on a downhill street since a long time. Like at some point, you could create a Facebook page and you were actually able to get organic traffic to your business. So let's say someone had like 5 friends on Facebook and was following 5 companies, so 10 profiles in total, and you were one of the companies, you would have a 10% chance that one of your posts would show up in the newsfeed. Today, if someone has 5 friends and is following 5 companies, there's basically 0% chance that any company post will show up in the newsfeed at all. Like you have to pay for everything. It's like how Facebook is making that much money. The only channel that really works on Facebook is paid ads, and that might not go on for much longer. The reason is that a lot of people are actually quite unhappy about the Facebook platform. If you're looking at some of the reviews of Facebook in the app stores, you will see that a lot of people are very unhappy about the kind of content, the entire experience, like being on Facebook. Like there's no point in creating organic content on a Facebook page. It's just going nowhere. Like you're not going to get any organic growth. The only growth you could ever get would be if you are like a social media influencer. If you're trying to build a brand, Facebook is making some adjustments for those people, but they're really setting the bar so high. You need like 30,000 followers and like a certain number of video views in order to be eligible for the monetization program. And I compare this with YouTube, where you just have to have 1,000 subscribers and only 4,000 hours of watch time. It's 10 times, 100 times easier to get on YouTube and to the paid partner program than to make a living on Facebook. And this is for influencers who really are getting pushed by Facebook, but like regular companies don't getting pushed at all. Like they don't count as like a person like Facebook want to have on their platform, that count as someone Facebook wants to milk and get some cash out of. Unless you are willing to invest a lot of money in advertisement, Facebook is basically dead. And the same is true for Instagram. Now, Instagram had the reputation that you could grow organically on Instagram, but it's more or less impossible too. Like it's so, like let's say you want to do the honest route. You're just creating good content, you're writing long, expanded text, you're selecting carefully selected hashtags, You're spending a lot of time following people, starting conversations with people. All of this costs time, and the content creation, in order to stand out, you have to have such an incredible production quality that it's such a high investment, both in time and terms of financially, to create content that could grow organically, and you almost don't grow at all unless you have like this 1 in a million chance that you're hitting the jackpot by creating a viral campaign. It's more or less impossible for businesses to reliably grow in a sense that it would pay off, that they would get a good return on investment on the time and money spent in terms of additional revenue. So again, on Instagram, the only route that reliably works is to pay for ads. There is basically no way. And if you are talking about like, yeah, let's go for some of those growth hacking tactics, let's use some bots, which is automatically following and unfollowing people, liking content. That's actually one of the problems why people don't like to use Instagram anymore, because it's so fake. It's like there's so many bots, like you don't know if anything means anything. Like when I'm coming on the platform, I'm posting something, there's like 100 random people liking and commenting, sending me like a thumbs up comment, and I'm like, yeah, obviously it's fake. I don't take this seriously. I would never follow this person back. I just feel like I'm surrounded by bots that I would rather see the 3 real people than getting like 100 fake comments on this platform. And it's like a lot of businesses think like, oh yeah, we got some followers organically, but no, you didn't. You just got some bots from some of your competitors who are trying to get some of your followers to follow them. So it's kind of bots trying to convince other bots to follow themselves, and somehow this will turn into revenue. And the other part is also like Instagram has become so good in cracking down on those tools. It becomes more and more complicated. I know so many people who spend months working on an account with automation tools, and they all got their account shut down. It was all for nothing. All this money spent, all this time spent on growing this account, it can just go away like this, like in the snap of a button, and then you're gone. For that reason, I feel either the organic route takes too much time or it takes pure luck. If you're starting out from scratch, if you don't already have a following, then the automation route is not getting you anywhere, because people just know there is no way how you can reliably create engagement. You can't automatically comment on other people's posts, which are really personalized and really mean something. So people don't take you seriously, and then the only people you get to follow you back are either people who don't really care or people maybe who are other bots. And yeah, so but if you are fine with like paying for ads can still work, but don't spend any time creating any organic content on your Instagram feed. And the third platform I left out is Twitter. Twitter is, in my opinion, just a social media network for people who are making the news and people who like to read way too much news every day. And then they like to fight over politics or to pat each other on the back. It's really very political. I don't personally like it. I was looking at how are people using Twitter successfully for business. They treat basically Twitter as their press release channel to get some news out. Again, like the news metaphor, like you want to get some press releases to the people making the news. So in that sense, it's okay. It's not really like an extra cost. If you're releasing a press release, just post it on Twitter. Basically, there is no way how you can do any form of proper content marketing on the platform unless you're like a celebrity and someone is really interested in like what you have to say. But like people don't go to Twitter to do some research on how to solve a certain business challenges. They don't go on Twitter and say, hey, I'm looking for some recommendation for this or that. Like it's very hit or miss. So I don't think Twitter really helps. Of course, if you're doing content marketing, if you have your own blog, you can just use a social scheduling tool and post all of your articles or YouTube video automatically on Twitter. But don't expect any form of sales when you are getting active and creating like daily tweets. The number of tweets that you have to generate on a daily level is like insane. You have to, if you want to take this seriously and you want to actually get real people to follow you, you have to be on the platform like for at least 12 hours, checking your phone every like 10 minutes to see if someone has responded to something you have said. You have to kind of dig through the news content every single day so you can find something interesting to post about, because it's what people like to look at on Twitter. So I don't really feel it's a really good platform. You can use it like put it on autopilot, schedule your links and just push it out. But don't focus too much time. Don't have the CEO of your company spend too much time on Twitter chatting or getting into politics or just discussing news. It's just a waste of time. There are much better channels when it comes to organic traffic. And really highly recommend focus on the top five that I mentioned at the beginning. So yeah, of course, let me know in the comments, like, do you agree? Do you think Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are actually the best social media networks and I should actually include them in my list? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear if you have any recommendation for any other channels that I might have missed. And again, if you want to really work on your LinkedIn strategy, also check out my LinkedIn Accelerator program. I'm going to put the link in the pinned comment and in the description of this video. And I see you in the next one. Bye.